years. We know you don't owe anybody anything. I don't know where he's coming from at the end. I do know this. He got in front of those season ticket holders. He told them that he wanted to stay. Now it sounds a little bit shakier on the idea that he wants to stay. I just want to know this. 50. You taking the over or the under tonight? Kyrie puts up in the Garden with the adoring throng chanting his name.
I'm taking over on the points. I'm taking over on the decibels because this will be a recruiting trip tonight, Bo. And it's a recruiting trip because this is more than a little shaky to me. This is Kyrie Irving, whether it's planned or not, opening up the can of worms and throwing them in the air and letting it all cascade upon the media, who he resents. And if you resent the conversation, Kyrie, I do wonder, how long have you been in this league, right? Because if you wanted to make this go away, Bo, you say something like, I love the Celtics. I would love to stay here. We'll talk about it July 1st. Or you just lie and say, I'm staying here, and then you just, go back on your word. Instead, he's giving us all of the information we need to think, oh, Boston maybe just took a massive, massive L.
Yeah, well, here's something to consider, from the standpoint of Boston. And you've talked about this a lot. The idea that Boston believes that Kyrie Irving can help bring Anthony Davis there. Now, Shams Charania of Stadium has said that no, Anthony Davis does not want to go to Boston. That would be a rental situation. Have we considered that all this that jumped off this week was not to get Anthony Davis to L.A., but to save him from going to Boston? Because you think about it, when he did that, he didn't just simply open it up for LA. He opened it up for literally every team in the league except Boston. Now let's think about Kyrie from that standpoint. If Anthony Davis doesn't want to come there, do you want to stay there?
Yeah, because we have to figure out who is pulling the strings here, if there are in fact strings, right? Is Kyrie serving his friend Anthony Davis and giving everybody a soft launch of what this is actually going to look like come July? Or is this all accidental because if, in fact, he truly doesn't want to return to Boston, Boston has lost him despite the promise ring, despite the advertising, and they've lost the guy that Danny Ainge has been planning to get for a decade.
Yeah.
A decade of assets leading up to a thing that, dude, people in Boston are now wondering, because they're mad, right? The other consequence of this, if this was not planned by Kyrie as such, you've now alienated Boston.
But hold on. My thing with Kyrie in Boston is it is entirely possible that him leaving is better for all parties involved. I'm not sure that Jason Tatum's development worked so well with Kyrie. We're seeing it this year. Jaylen Brown's numbers with Kyrie off the floor are much better than they are with Kyrie on the floor. In the end, this could work out for everybody. And the thing that may sink what Boston is trying to do, and it's not anybody's fault because the dude broke his leg, but as of right now, they ain't getting the return on Gordon Hayward. They're not getting it on the floor. They're certainly not getting it on payday. And Gary Washburn tweeted about this the other day, that they got people who ride Gordon every day in the crowd now. It can't be fun for him.
And what's fun for us is that this is just the beginning. They haven't even played the game tonight.
And the next name, that wasn't classy. Kristaps Porzingis. Basketball world was shocked yesterday at the news of him being traded to Dallas. Pablo, this clears cap space, maybe for Kevin Durant and another max free agent. Was it a smart move by the Knicks?
It is a smart move if the Knicks are being puppeteered by Kevin Durant. I was very, very afraid of this deal until it hit me. If Kevin Durant, via his manager, agent, business partner, Rich Kleiman, who has talked a lot about wanting to run the Knicks, being a Knicks fan, if they in tandem are orchestrating this, if they are puppet mastering, shadow GMing New York from Oakland, if that is happening, I am in, because if Kevin Durant says I'm coming, and people in the league, by the way, they are talking, they are saying to others that Rich Kleiman told the Knicks they're getting KD. If that's the case and KD has a second guy, Kyrie Irving. If that is the second guy, I love this. But if it's not, this is a nightmare.
The great Shannon Penn said it best. The Knicks went blind 7 on free agents. Do you know what that means?
I get it.
You don't know what that means.
I get the
gist.
But
he went blind. They're just look, we're going to clear this all out, and we're going to hope that we roll 7 when free agency comes around. And I got to say, I don't think it's a bad play. The reason that I don't think it's a bad play is I don't think that they did themselves a disservice by getting Porzingis out of here, because the idea of Porzingis has persisted and been much more visible than the actual production of Porzingis. Now, let's act like Porzingis is named something else, right? Let's act like you've got a dude who's come in and has been hurt a lot, has been flashy, but hasn't really done anything, is 7 feet tall and averages 7 rebounds a game, has got a brother that works as his agent, and ever since he got to town, been steady complaining about what they don't like about the team. Now the team has traded him, and Porzingis gets on the Instagram story talking about, you're going to find out what the truth is. The truth is the Knicks knew you didn't want to be here anymore. They decided they were going to move you, so the truth will come out. I feel like this is what I think happened. I think the Knicks put that word out yesterday. Yeah, we talked to Porzingis, and we left with the idea that he wanted to be traded. You think they put a trade together in hours after that happened? No, they tried to soften the landing for people who had bet on this unicorn for so long, but they may have sold high on this.
No, this was a CIA-level setup by all appearances. That is the only way that the timing makes any sense. But you talk about selling high. I wonder, right? I feel good about this if Kevin Durant's coming and all that. But I also feel a lot better about this if the Knicks did consider what the true market for Kristaps Porzingis is. Because as much as he may be overrated, Bo, they basically used him as the paycheck to give the garbage disposal guy to take out all the bad contracts.
They sure did. And the thing is, his body is bad, or at least it appears to be.
It does. An erector set, 7'3". Last name is Charles Barkley. Last night on Inside the NBA, our friend Chuck decided he had enough of all this Anthony Davis to the Lakers talk. Let's listen to my favorite old man waving his fist at the sky.
Adam Silver needs to block that trade.
Why?
I don't like what the Lakers are doing. I don't think it's right. I don't
what
think
the Lakers are doing?
Yes, I don't think.
What did they do?
We're collusion, and you know it's collusion. Let me tell you something. Rich Paul got mad at me because I said a month ago, I said, oh, the fix is in. Anthony Davis going to the Lakers. This before all this rumor started. And he says, Charles, he didn't like me saying the fix was in. The fix has been in. We cannot have players and agents colluding to stack super teams. Adam Silver needs to say, Anthony Davis, we love you.
You can't have players?
We can't have players dictating who gonna play together.
Your piece flew out and everything.
Wow.
Do you see where he's coming from?
I do see where he is coming from.
You do?
I do, but I think it starts with an antiquated notion. His idea, at least I can take from what he's saying with this, is that you're getting these players and they're making these decisions and they're going to teams, and basically what you have is like 4 or 5 teams that are really good, and then the rest of the league is bad because all the good players are on the same teams, right? That's the only argument that you got there. My thing is, I'm going to make this bold proposal right now in front of everybody. We need to get rid of the idea of a super team, or at least change what the definition of super team is. And the reason I say that is, once that thing got together in Boston in 2007, the paradigm changed on what it was going to take for you to win in the NBA. There are more good players in this league now than there have ever been, to the point where the Philadelphia 76ers have Joel Embiid, who's a top 10 player, Jimmy Butler, who's a top 15 player, Ben Simmons, who's probably a top 20 player. None of us really think they have a chance at winning a championship. Like, that's how much firepower that you need. So the players have a choice. I can wait for my front office to amass all the talent that is necessary, those bumble whatever clowns that are out here doing it, or I can take matters into my own hands. So if they don't want players to put these teams together, then you need competent executives to do it, because this is what it takes to win a championship now.
I think we do need to retire the label of super team, because you're right. The Celtics begat the Heat, who begat the Warriors, who begat all of the attempts to keep up with the Warriors, the Rockets, by the way, included. But we also need to retire the word collusion, because this is obviously the word du jour for all sorts of reasons. But what he is describing is a situation in which Anthony Davis has more power than he really does. The difference here is that Anthony Davis's agent, Rich Paul, put his name on the report. That's why they got fined $50,000. The reality of it is that the New Orleans Pelicans don't have to do anything. No, and I don't think they will.
No, he can't get himself anywhere he wants to go. Kawhi Leonard couldn't get himself to where he wanted to go. Kyrie couldn't get himself to where he wanted to go. None of these guys, as long as they're under contract, can make a team, send them anywhere. In fact, Anthony Davis seems to be dealing with a front office that wants to do whatever it can to not send him to the place he wants to go.
Yes, LA specifically, because what do New Orleans people like these days? The opposite of Los Angeles.
What does the rest of the NBA hate? And they hate the Los Angeles Lakers. Coming up next, it's a